Yo, let's talk about it. Ebony S.K. Williams, I think that's how you say her name. That's her name. Ebony talks about hitting a wall. Let's talk about it. So Ebony was on that podcast with the two biracial chicks that if you add them together, you might get one black girl. They got rid of the other black girl. She left because Joe Budden was being creepy or whatever. But on that pod, they were having discussions about, Ebony's been doing the chicken circuit promoting the reality show she's on now. And kind of disappointed in Ebony. It's weird how even successful, intelligent black people have to stoop low to the bottom to like get it on. It does seem that way. Remember when Michelle Obama was like, if I could be anybody else, I'd be Beyonce. Like, really? Like, all the accomplishments and accolades and the intelligence you showed that you had prior, to marrying Obama, like, you want to be Beyonce? And I feel like that way about, Eb. She's going to the Negro crat sunken place. Now, I was disappointed too this last political season. I was happy that she was here in the beginning because she was actually logical and rational, and she's a lawyer and she had a skill and talent. So it wasn't necessarily about how you feel and the wokeism. She would tell you how things really operate in the courtroom, and that's why I respected her the way she did that, whether it was on State of the Culture or whether it was on when she first went on the Breakfast Club. Now she's just like the rest of the other nigger cats, like Angela Rye and all that. She's in the same boat now. Far horrible mouth too, by the way, just terrible mouth. But anyways, Ebony was talking about hitting that wall and how much time she got left. But before I can say, I wanted to emote something out loud that I've been thinking about, hearing women who voice their dislikes and likes, and how some men might internalize that or deal with that, even if it's on a subconscious level. But let's talk about Ebony hitting that wall in 2 years. She said she got 2 years before she hit the wall. Just 2 years. Alrighty, it's hot. The fan gonna be on in the back. Oh wow. So Ebony was talking about hitting the wall and all that stuff, but before I get into that, I was thinking about some of the stuff that Ebony was saying, and you've seen some of her clips go viral because of what she's saying. She claims that she's submissive but aggressive at the same time. Shit makes no sense. She seems like the type of female that I don't see the submissiveness, softness in her, but I'm not dating her, so I would never know. But the way she presents does not come off that way to me at all. Whatever. But she has a lot of traditional value structure views and whatnot, and we see her dating life over the few years have just kept falling for whatever reason. And I guess she broke up with her ex because he had kids and he was putting his grown ass kids in front of their relationship in the midst of the pandemic, and he was trying to chill with them, hang with them, which I understand. You're a parent. I do subscribe to the same logic though, that your spouse comes first, but that's not a spouse. That's just a chick he's dating. So how does that even work? And I've already conceded to the point that the reason why so many women in our community and urban women have an issue with even the concept of putting a man before her children, right? Like, they don't get that, and it's mind-boggling for a lot of women in this community. But Ebony was saying her likes and dislikes, and that she lives a life of luxury, and she has certain expectations, which we'll get to later, that she's going to get rid of once the war happens. But she says she has a list and things that she expects, and I don't understand why dudes get in their feelings when a woman is of a certain status and has a certain value set, and you can't meet the requirements of it. Like, fall back. Like, that's just not the chick for you. Like, she was saying, like, yo, if we go on vacation, it's 5 stars hotels only. If we go on vacation, we only fly in first class. If you can't take 2 international trips a year, we can't date. In reality, how many men fit that boat at that level that can acquire that and can do that? Whatever. I don't think Ebony is solely BBC only. I think her first fiance or whatever was a white dude, so I'm assuming that she can meet those men if she opens her options or whatever. But she was saying a bunch of stuff like that she won't deal with men if they don't have those things, which it made me think about that. And I've thought about this for a while though, because I remember the colorist chick crying about a few years ago about just wanting the same thing that a patriarchal community has, where the men are willing to sacrifice their lives and put themselves in harm's way for a woman, even if they can't obtain or have access to that woman. And she want that from the black community as well, despite it being a matriarchy or actually not a patriarchy at all. But I explained in the video when I talked about that how, like, that's the structure, that's the code, that there's that's a long list of things that led up to that. It didn't just happen in the vacuum, which she wants to happen in the black community. But the audacity, though, of women to tell a certain type of men that they're broke, they're dusty, or this or that, this internalized racism we engage in, that we sound no different than the white supremacy channels when we talk about each other. For women to be that comfortable saying, like, you ain't good enough, you don't measure up, you could never have a chance with me, blah, 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 which is fine and it's cool. But on the flip side, even on a subconscious level, at what point does a man get to say, well, I can't even have access to you? When do I get the agency to say that your life isn't more valuable than mine? How can you have the expectation that I sacrifice because you're gender or whatnot, but I don't even fit the boat? Like, why aren't the type of men, the dudes that they really want to go out there and clean the community up and fix everything, aren't the dudes out there causing the drama and the trouble and whatnot? It's the Pookies and Marys that they themselves are attracted to. Why ain't them niggas out there sacrificing their lives and them out there cleaning it up? You want the dudes that you don't even want to give access to do those things. But I've pondered about that a lot, is that because if this was social media and everybody's having a podcast and having the same conversations, people are telling you what they don't like and refusing it, and we can see that. So if men know that they don't measure up, they can't qualify for your attention, time, whatever, why would they be willing to be chivalrous towards your sacrifice their life for yours if they know they don't even have access to you? And that's the silly thing that the color chick was kind of not comprehending, that when they have a rule set and it's guaranteed that. And I use the example of the young 15-year-old football player that sacrificed his life for the two little girls, and he took the bullets for them and he's dead. And how in a true structural patriarchy community, that mom, that dad should have never had to pay for the funeral. That mom should never have to cook. That dad shouldn't have to cut grass or do anything around the house, because the community and the structure should come around him and support him. And like, we don't have that, right? So it's one thing to you to sacrifice your life for some random chick, and then ain't nobody gonna be there to turn around you to take care of your family either. I liken that to the movie 3:10 to Yuma, and how Christian Bale was going around to get Russell Crowe, and how the deal he made with the government was, well, if I do go on this suicide mission, my land is good and my kids are going to inherit it and they're going to be good even if I die, right? But I'm saying we don't have that here, and yet you putting the cart way before the horse. You just look at the women and saying white women have simp ass white dudes that'll sacrifice themselves and they don't have no opportunity for them. Yes, that's true, but they've got a couple hundred years head start of participating in this game. But that's the question I have, though. It's like, at what point do young men, because we know in the black community, when men view women as equals, they tend to in most European egalitarian societies, when women are treated equally from the form of the government, men personally tend to fall back, and it's like, you're on your own. Kind of like how in the black community you see a chick getting washed out in the street or something like that, and there's a bunch of people recorded and not intervening because unfortunately they view women as their equals, which I don't blame them who think that way, because that's what our society and our structure has promoted to us, right? Remember, we promoted these things, that's why we like them. Well, our entire existence, as far as being in this country, we've been promoted egalitarian situation. The Cosby Show, he's a doctor, she's a lawyer. My wife and kids, the first episode was her like, I don't want to be a housewife no more. I want to go back to work and make money. The bootleg version of the modern day Cosby Show is blackish. He's an advertising exec and she's a doctor. Like, like, we've always been promoted this egalitarian look, and we're gonna talk about that later on in a different video. But yeah, I do have questions. But anyways, let's get back to Eboni talking about hitting that wall. She said she got 2 years left. It's funny too, like how Eboni is saying that once she hits 40, once she knows that the eggs is dried up and there's only a couple left, and that's weird too, because I remember Charlamagne talking about these women around him that are so obviously he got to tap dance, do what he got to do, because as Kwame Brown said, he's Mr. Got Away With It. He pled to a lesser charge, so he has to have this platform where he overly capes for sisters. Like, it is what it is. We get the game. But he was talking about how, like, he knows all these women that's raising their eggs. I know Ebony's one of them. Angela Rye's another one. Another one that is she's in the business, but she's like not popular on TV and social media. I think she's more into film and whatnot and writing TV shows. But he was talking about all these women like I feel bad for them. The dudes out here ain't nothing because they don't like. Do you ever imagine like could it be them though? Like could something be wrong with them? Literally, like could they have a problem with why they can't keep a relationship? Like you think Angela Rye is all peaches and cream to be with? Like come on. But they up here freezing their eggs and shit like Sub-Zero because they're damn near 40 and it's, you know. But anyways, at least in reality, Ebony is logical. That's why I did bang with her. I did like her commentary when she first came on the Breakfast Club and some of the stuff she was saying on State of the Culture. But Ebony acquiesces. She comprehends that there's a time limit and time frame. And she said that, you know, once that time she's giving herself 2 years. So I'm assuming she's 38 and it's, by the time she's 40, she gonna recognize game and she's gonna hang it up and go back to that list where she's rejecting everybody because they don't meet her standards or her requirements. She knows that these is her words, not mine, and hypothetically that her value is going to drop and she's gonna have to take things off that list. So it might not be in 2 years from now you might can snatch her up, a 40-year-old Ebony who probably can't have kids. She got her eggs though, they frozen, they on ice. You might be able to if you're that dude who can't fly out the country twice a year on an international trip, or if you're that dude who doesn't want to spend money on 5-star hotels, you're cool with 2 and 3s, or if you're the dude who might not be able to fly or don't want to fly first class because you know, smart with money and you know you're not bougie or nothing like that, you might have access to her in 2 years though from now. Not right now, because right now her stock is still high according to her. And she has expectations. She wants certain things from men because the wall's not there yet. But in 2 years, sirs, if you want that, you can, and you don't meet those requirements now, those requirements are going to drop drastically in a few years. These are not my words. These are Ebony's words. Okay? And ironically, the fat, light-skinned, slutty chick acknowledged it as well. She brought up the way she framed the question was like, yo, women's values go down, they go up. And I don't even get into any of that, you know, but I was listening to Simple. They were having a conversation about that too, basically saying how the pendulum swings, how when men start off, and these are studies and data that, you know, came to these conclusions, like our shit is at 0, you know, no muscle mass, no physical attraction, no distinguished look, nothing like that, and no money, more importantly. And then as you age and grow muscles and testosterone rises and you become more attractive and you become more financially secure, your shit goes up. And the opposite happens for women. And this is where how more and more people are saying these things practically, yet some women still are living in some type of delusion. Shout out to Tim Pool and the I forgot the name of the podcast. They were on there, the dating podcast, Fresh and Fit or whatever. They were on Tim Pool and they were talking about that. And I'll do a video about something I heard on there too to trigger some of the people who have an issue with the older men, younger women thing. They do. But anyways, I'm done with my video. That was just my question. Do you think that women who are constantly telling you what they don't want, what they don't like, but then confused when the men in their circles can see that, like we see what you post on social media, we know what you say, I can't deal with this, I can't deal with that, and you wonder why dudes are not approaching y'all because they know you're on a certain worldview or you have a certain view of this person who votes that way or whatever. You're telegraphing everything and everybody knows you, and it's either the only dudes who are going to probably approach you or the dudes who are going to fake be what you want to get your attention, or the predators, the dudes that probably shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't be entertaining them anyways. But let's leave it up to Ebony to tell her how her clock is ticking and it's almost over for her. She got 2 years, y'all. 2 years you can get access to Ebony SK women. Very intelligent, submissive, but aggressive at the same time, and bossy, and like you can't be on social media, can't be friends with none of your exes that you slept with, you know what I mean? Like she got rules. So, but again, those rules might change in 2 years though, right? So just hold on, you can get it.
Really fine. I think when you get to your 30s, that's a dub. That's a dub.
Okay, so it's a dub. At what point then do you hang it up? At what point do you be like, maybe my standards are too high and I should reconsider? What is that conversation looking like at 35, at 38? Me at 30, I know it's changed dramatically.
Yeah, but you still have time. I only have 2 years.
Why you
I've just decided. I've just decided. Don't pull a Nick Cannon. Don't pull a Nick Cannon now.
Wait, what did Nick
say?
Nick started procreating because he thought he was gonna die. That was what he said.
I don't think that's a death thing. Is that just a woman aging
That's
mindset?
just a woman aging. I'm just going to tell you from what I know of experience and what I know of the men that I do date and what they look for. There is a difference of perception
Okay.
of a woman's intrinsic value after the age of 40. It just is.
Okay.
It just is. So we might, especially black women and women of color, we look great. I've been talking to my friends about this because, you know, they look 26. You might look 30, but bitch, you 42.
Right.
Okay?
right.
And guess what else is 42? Your motherfucking eggs. Okay? This is true. And this is how a lot of men think. I've had women in the last couple of months be turned down from prospective dating potentials because he wants children. And he's nervous about the quality of her eggs and ability to give him children because she's a certain age. And nobody wants to say it. It's taboo. It's fucking real. So I say for me, who will be 38 in September, I give myself 2 more years to, quote, want it all. For me, all means you got to believe in a God, because if you don't hold yourself accountable to something higher than you, you're not motherfucking for me.
Okay.
Number 2, you have got to be successful. Not that you have a lot of cash, and I know we were going to talk about this for a minute, but let's just get to it. I don't care about your dollar. I mean, I do. You can't be broke. But it's less about your dollar amount. It's more about your possession of the skill set to make the money.
Correct.
Because if you lose the money, you got to be able to make it again.
Okay.
It's a few other things. At 40, if I've not found said man and God has not sent him to me, I am going to start settling.
What is settling for you?
Settling means going through my list. Y'all have both seen my list.
Yes.
And
It's a good list.
It is a good list.
Thank you.
I ain't gonna lie. I looked at that
Solid.
and I was like, I might need to
I
boost
might need
mine
to,
up a little
I
bit.
might need to copy paste some of these.
Yeah.
And that list came from lived experience.
Yeah.
That's not an arbitrary list.
But that list also came from, like this Drake date, you
I
experiencing a
experienced certain things.
Right.
And I've provided for myself, because I'm a woman of a particular age, certain things.
Right.
When I go to book a trip, if the 3 of us, let's just shoot the shit. We're going to Costa Rica.
Okay.
We're not going.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Right? I love. Right?
Okay, tomorrow.
We're only going 4 or 5 star accommodations.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Correct.
So then
That's the
why
only
am
way
I
we're
going
going.
less than that with my man? I'm not. So that's where that comes from. We're flying. Costa Rica flight, 3 or 4 hours?
About 5
5
hours.
hours. Bitch got a bad back. Got to be in first class. Got to be. So I'm not deviating from those standards that I hold myself for you. You know? So that's all that comes from. So in 2 years, Mandy, to go back to your question, I might not be able to get all of that and the integrity and the generosity and someone who wants a child, because that's important to me.
Okay.
And someone that will be a good father and someone that puts me first, because that's a non-negotiable for me. My last fiance, fantastic man. I was number 4.
Yikes. What
I
was number
can't-
1 through 3?
The first 3 were his children. We talked about that in the last
Yes.
podcast. And number 4 was
Wait,
his
he
job.
prioritized the children over you?
Over not just me, over any woman.
Oh.
And 2 of those children were adults.
That was the thing. And I know that we've been seeing that with Gary Owens and his ex-wife, where he's like, the kids are
The
adults.
kids are adults.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know what that was.
Something just failed.
Yeah.
But the kids are adults, and so I get that, where even you do have to prioritize your partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, biblically, that's how that goes.
That's what I said. I believe in the divine order, which
Yeah, the
says
divine order
God,
is
God, spouse,
spouse,
kids,
children. Yeah.
Period.
Once
So-
you're married, once you take your vows, 100%.
But here's the
and you
other
on the
thing about
way.
that. Let's talk about that though, Bridget. Once you take your vows. But I was with my ex for 4 years. It's not as if we're going to say I do and now our
No,
relationship.
but there has to the precursor.